With those customers that have chosen to engage with the ePractice Manager, it's only helped to deepen that relationship. You now start to to become seen as a confidant, an advisor, and an ally too. Especially when the program starts to succeed, they really appreciate that. And again, it just opens up different conversations than you ever would have had. And that first customer that I met with, he was a good customer, but he was an underachiever. At least when it came to implants. Yeah. And I knew that. And so, once he engaged and really started to implement these systems, I saw tremendous growth out of that practice, like I'd never seen in any practice up to that point. And this was after 12 years with the company. I had never seen that kind of growth from an existing customer. He went from being, a 100 implant a year customer to a 300 implant a year customer in really just a matter of a couple of years. And has continued to grow since then, and has expanded the types of treatments that he's done. He's implemented full arch and, various other treatments. And that's not a singular, event either. That's happened in all the practices. So, our job is tough. It's really hard and really only getting harder and more complex as we continue to add more product lines and different ways to help treat patients. And it can be really hard to separate yourself from the pack. There are so many implant companies today that are all trying to get in edgewise into our customers and get them to use their products. And so, if you have the ability to separate yourself in any way, that's pure gold. And, what ePractice Manager does is it gives you the ability to get out of that salesperson role and again, start having some of those growth and business discussions that are going to lead to, again, richer, deeper relationships with your customers, and also help you in the process to make them need more of your products. That's the bottom line is, we don't have to, try to sell them more. They need more. And that's a win-win. So I was introduced to ePractice Manager back in 2010. And it was actually through a customer of mine who had engaged with their services and at their behest asked if I wouldn't mind meeting up with Alan Hollander just to see if we could get on the same page in terms of what they were trying to achieve. And so I had the opportunity to sit down with Alan and have dinner and hear a little bit about what it is that he did. To be perfectly honest, I've always been a little dubious of consultants. There's good and bad ones, just like everything. But there's a lot of snake oil out there, and so I think I went in maybe with maybe some preconceived ideas about what it is that a consultant does. I got to know Alan and met with him a few more times, and immediately began to think of other customers of mine who I thought would benefit from his services. And so in total, I've actually had 3 customers that have worked with ePractice Manager, and they're all success stories on their own merits. So that's how I got started with ePractice Manager. With my customers that have engaged with the ePractice Manager, I can't point to just one difference it's made in their practice. I can't say this was that one thing that made all the difference in the world for them, because the approach is holistic. It's from top to bottom. It impacts every position, every faucet of the practice, with the exception maybe of clinical. But even then, you can find that it does have an impact on their clinical approach as well. Our customers start to adopt some of the systems that are implemented by EPM. You start to see it change. When you walk into a well-run practice, it just has a different feeling to it. You can tell almost within the first minute that you're in a practice that, they've got some things figured out. So that's really just on the surface what I noticed. But the other thing that you start to see too is the efficiencies, and everything from the way that they order to the way that they are scheduling their cases. Again, some of these things by themselves may seem like small things, but they make big differences in these practices. especially the scheduling. That, I would say, the one thing that the piece of feedback that I get back from almost every practice that's engaged with ePractice Manager is how much better their schedule is.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand exactly what it is that you do with their schedule, but I do know that is universally recognized as one of the biggest benefits.